everybody, what's going on? It's Ted here with you. Wednesday, February 3rd, 2021. So, the United States Senate has taken the first steps toward a massive stimulus, which we talked about. I just told you guys yesterday, I was talking junk on them about them telling us that that would be a priority when Biden got in there, when that Georgia runoff was over. If the Democrats won, that would be one of their priorities because they take control of the Senate and the House, basically full control, because the deciding vote would be Vice President Kamala Harris. But anyway, the U.S. Senate took a tentative step Tuesday towards pushing through a massive economic aid package proposed by President Joe Biden, but bipartisanship was absent. Besides the $1,400 stimulus checks, Biden's proposal would pay for programs to help schools safely reopen, accelerate COVID-19 testing and vaccination distribution, financially support small businesses, extend unemployment benefits through September, and increase food and aid for those in need. Now, those all sound like really great things for someone to be doing, but what people don't understand is they are basically taking that money right out of your pocket. And like I've told you guys before, Barack Obama pushed our deficit into the stratosphere. Trump did even more than him. He added even more than Obama did. And Biden is off to a 1.9 trillion start with this package. He is going to probably outpace Obama and Trump as far as adding to our deficit. So when that money is printed up and handed out to these people, it's going to lower your ability to buy things. If I had $1 bill, this is how it works. If I had $1 bill, that thing is valuable. Everybody wants that thing. If I print billions and billions and billions of them, they become a common card. There's one in every pack. Those get thrown to the side. And that's essentially what is going on with the United States dollar when you keep printing and printing and printing. So I've thought of a way to cut this proposal down. Just for example, the $1,400 stimulus checks. Now, a lot of people ain't going to like me for this. $1,400 stimulus checks, food aid for those in need, extended unemployment. If you want any of that, you have to pass a drug test. You don't pass the drug test, you don't get it. I bet that would cut down on how much you needed. A lot of people then might not come out and even take the drug test, which that's 1,400's knocked off. Boom. So if you don't pass that, but they're not going to do that. They'll end up giving it out and then saying, oh, you got to get the vaccine or else you're not going to get it. Not to mention, this is never going to be paid back. This debt that they're rising is never going to be paid back. They're stealing this money right from you and your kids and your grandkids. And we just talked about yesterday how China is about to overtake us. Things like this is why. China's not printing and printing and printing and printing and giving out the money. It's called helicopter money. Ben Bernanke. Look into that. That's a real thing. They discussed this plan years ago. And as that value of the dollar continues to plummet and they continue to print, sinking the value even further, like I said yesterday, we're going to get turned into more of a third world nation. And your quality of living is definitely going to take a hit. And one way to protect yourself against that, precious metals. Like I told you guys about the suit yesterday. You could get a suit for an ounce of gold back during the Depression. Years and years later, today, you could still get a real good suit for an ounce of gold. So think about that. If you have extra money, when you get that $1,400, it might be worth it to put that into something that you see as a good investment. I would recommend precious metals or crypto. Precious metals if you want it to hold its value. Because as soon as you receive the check, it's already starting to go down in value. So take that $1,400 and go put it into something that's going to maintain value. Food maintains its value. If you have long-term storage, that food will maintain its value and maybe save you some money when the prices go up next month and you can just go to your pantry and grab out a can. But gold is always going to protect your wealth against these fools printing this money, acting like we're never going to have to pay for it. So Biden, as we know, since he's been in office, has been executive ordering it up. I'm talking about multiple executive orders seemingly on a daily basis. So he signed an immigration executive order to address the moral failings of Trump policies, which I'm not a Trump fan, but I don't agree with that at all. One executive order will create a task force to reunite children who are separated from their parents under Trump's zero tolerance policy. President Joe Biden signed three major executive orders Tuesday aimed at reversing former President Donald Trump's hardline immigration practices. One executive order will create a task force to reunite children who are separated from their parents under Trump's zero tolerance policy, which an administration official called a moral failing. So, in case everybody forgot, when Trump got voted in the first time, when they supposedly didn't cheat that time, he ran under building of the wall, putting Hillary in jail, stopping immigration, because I'm all for legal immigration. If you want to come to this country legally and take the legal steps to become a citizen, but when you lift up these laws and basically incentivize these people to sneak into your country, it is gentrification of your country. You will lose your traditions. Things like that is why we no longer say Merry Christmas. We have to say Happy Holidays because of all the other people that we might offend. That's why we need to make it legal immigration. And, they say a moral failing. How about the moral failing right here in the United States? You want to take these people who have broken the law. Sneaking into the country illegally is a law, by the way. So they broke it, which gets you jailed, which gets you separated from your family. In America, if a guy gets caught in certain states, if a guy gets caught smoking a joint, they want to take his family away from him, and he's an American citizen. How about you put his family in jail with him? Reunite that family. Why do you care so much about these immigrants? Illegal immigrants, should I say. The wall was to deter illegal immigrants. We need to stop allowing illegal immigrants and making it easier for illegal immigrants to become citizens. Otherwise, we are going to lose every last one of our traditions and probably our freedoms with that. And that is exactly what they want. That's why Joe Biden and the Democrats, you guys know, I'm not for either party, but historically, these guys are pushing these immigration laws that gentrify America, to do away with what we see as American, to get rid of our traditions. And it's going to work because they have you believing that it's morally correct. And it's nonsense. It's just a way to wash away our traditions and for them to gerrymander, or in other words, if you don't know what that means, steal more elections. Set up these people who we let illegally come into the country. All right, you can come in, you can have a house, you can have a car, you can have a job. We'll even put you back with your family. Just make sure you vote Joe. So we talked about the Reddit Wall Street Bets page and how they stopped the short from happening, but now all of that is crumbling. But as that's crumbling, those supposed retail investors are losing a lot of money, right? They rode that thing up, and just like I told you, those big guys, they probably rode that thing up. They're riding it all the way back down to their shorts. But you have Yellen summoning regulators to discuss financial market volatility. And basically what this amounts to is they want to change the laws to make sure that the little guy can't manipulate the market. That's not right, even though they do the same thing every single day. So I can reasonably estimate that there's going to be some kind of changes to regulations or laws and they also fairly, I got to give the truth 100% disclosure, they're also looking into Robinhood, because when this went down, Robinhood stopped allowing people to buy those certain stocks, which that's illegal. That right there is manipulating. So basically, Yellen is getting together with these people to figure out a way to keep the rich getting richer and not let us little guys get as rich as them. They don't want that. And they don't want us to have the ability to hurt them the way that this did. This hurt hedge funds, not for long. Those hedge funds are probably making all that money back now. But I'm sure there will be changes from this to stop guys like me and you from being able to get in there and push the market the way we need it to go. And it'll allow them easier rules to push it the way they need it to go. so that they can keep this thing all pumped up for you. Because the day that they can't keep this thing pumped up and the curtain gets pulled aside and you realize that the emperor has no clothes, it's a wrap. All faith in the dollar's gone. That's when gold and silver really are going to shine. So remember, gold and silver are prepper items for economic woes. Not to mention, everybody will accept gold and silver. When they stop accepting dollar bills, they're going to accept the gold and silver, guys. So here's a couple graphs for the nationwide, because they're saying that cases and hospitalizations are down. And after this, I'm going to bring you another article to show you a little reason why that could be. But you have here, daily tests down, daily cases way down. I just want you to look too at this graph. It just so happens that right as Biden became president, everything started coming down. That's not weird. And still to this day, even with all of this coming down, here you got hospitalizations down, deaths are even dropping. So still to this day, your mortality rate is way less than 1%. It's not even 0.5%. Even with this, oh, we've gotten 4,000 cases a day, there's such a spike. Now, I really do believe you got to watch out for these mutations that are coming, and this could be a way of helping us to become complacent so that we do catch it, and they can push their agenda on us that way of forcing us into the vaccine. But as you see, everything's coming down. And with that mortality rate that I just told you about, they still, really, there's no reason that we should have been locked down. The empirical evidence is not there. But they locked us down. They crushed our economy even further because, like I told you, this whole thing is just a patsy. Our economy was crap to begin with. So the lowering, there's less tests, less hospitalizations, less cases, period. And this could be a reason why. Doctors are stopping testing for COVID because they're not being reimbursed. So like I told you guys a couple weeks ago, when a hospital is incentivized to say a person has COVID, a body comes in, that body died of a motorcycle accident. They test that body has COVID. He didn't die of COVID. He died in that motorcycle accident. But on his death certificate, they put COVID-19 because they're going to get $3,000 for every single one they put. And they thought they were going to get it for testing too. So you remember, testing really amped up. That was when they were incentivizing it. And now that the doctors are seeing we're not going to get that money they promised us, they're cutting back into testing. And wouldn't you find it almost unbelievable that when they cut back into testing, there's a lot less cases? Wow. And even with all of that, the mortality rate is still really low. But with all that said, guys, be careful for the mutations. That's what I've been preaching since day one. And there's nothing wrong with being careful. When this all first started, I canceled a vacation to the Bahamas because I was nervous and scared. But now, with over a year worth of statistics and information, I'm not nowhere near as scared as I was. The death rate is really, really low. Most people that get this are coming back from it. You don't have to, if you have underlying conditions that could up the mortality rate for you, but it's still, even with those conditions, it's still less than 1%. So let's watch out. Let's be careful for these mutations. But for this original COVID variant, I'm not really scared. And I wouldn't take that vaccine. Like I told you guys, I tell you guys all the time. Anyway, don't be scared, guys. Get prepared. I'm going to get out of here. Please, 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 let me get a thumbs up, subscription. Thank you guys, everybody who tunes in on a regular basis. I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you guys. Be safe. See you tomorrow.